Today we're taking a look at some space planning for our main garden area. But before we get too deep into it, I would love to hear a bit from anybody watching. I'd like to know things like, do you have a garden of your own? What kind of things do you like to grow? Or, I don't know, just what would you like to see on this channel if you continue watching? Anything is welcome, and I'd just really like to hear from anybody who is watching these videos if you'd like them, things like that. Anyway, let's get to planning. So we really wanted to plan a lot more this year and figured this was kind of a good starting point. Getting a good idea of what kind of space we have to work with and how we can really maximize that is important for us to get a solid jump on our next season. So we started out by taking some basic measurements, just measurements of our main garden space, and writing them all down in this little notebook I have. We only really wanted to plan out this main space since the herb garden area is so small, and then the old bike storage area is going to be pretty simple, so it took a little extra work off my plate. I only had to measure this amount. So after I gathered all my measurements, I made this awesome little scale CAD model. It turned out to be really, really boring. It wasn't fun to look at, and it just kind of felt like looking at work blueprints, so I decided to draw it out instead. I grabbed some 1/4-inch graph paper, a ruler, and some pencils, and went for a more colorful approach. Just something that was easier in the eyes, easier to drag around the house, and plan with Christine about what we're going to do. Drawing it out was pretty easy once we picked a good scale for the space. It's just a matter of plotting a few points around, and then grabbing this straight edge and tracing everything out. I color-coded some of the basic parts of the garden just to make sure it was easy to read, and then added in the drawing of the raised bed. And then after that, we took basically some scrap graph paper and cut out different plants we wanted to grow in the size kind of corresponding with how much space they need to thrive. And then messed around a little bit with putting them where we want them, just to get a rough idea of how much we can really fit into this garden without really choking off too many of our plants. But all in all, I think we're in a good spot for next year. There's not a whole lot we can really do with the winter coming up. There's still some more planning. We might talk about some indoor seed starting stuff we're going to do. But in the meantime, I'd really like to hear from people, like I said. If you want to comment on the video or just reach out to me in any way of things you'd like to see or what you do with your garden every year, I'd really like to hear it.